cowboy, the sukiyaki jockey, the man of trail, Tim Kamara. And from San Antonio, Texas, a man on a mission and a mission on his mind, the man behind the wheel at keeping it real, Brad.
Here we go.
Jewett.
Here we go, Timmy.
Where's the queen of the ship here?
The queen of the ship's in the backyard at the moment. So everybody, as you can see, I am doing our show from our house, from my wife's office today. Unfortunately, I had air conditioning issues at the house today. I wasn't able to get to the barn. So here we are on the 3rd of September. We got an amazing show. We're sorry to have gotten started a little late tonight, but we're going for it nonetheless. We got a great show with David Denniston. It is going to be awesome. This guy's so full of knowledge. I've had the privilege of getting to judge with him a bunch, and we're going to forego Tim and I's discussions that we usually like to just eat up time at the beginning. But this interview, I think, is going to be much desired. I know it has been for me when we talked to him about doing it. He's judged every major show in the world. And when I was looking at the intros and I saw a picture like on a gated horse, I'm kind of interested to know about that too, right? So, Tim, if you don't have anything to say before we get going, any belated happy birthdays to your girlfriend Tina.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Happy birthday tomorrow.
Tim's heading out to Rome, I think maybe tomorrow or very soon.
Well, we got a few days, but yeah. And then Dave's behind you.
So we're going to get this live show in before we lose Mr. Tim again. So if you haven't checked out the Horse Show Network yet, please do so. Thank you all so much for those of you that have subscribed to the Horse Show Network. Thank you so much. We hope you guys are truly enjoying it. So without further ado, Marcelo, let's bring David in here.
Yeah.
PhD,
yeah.
David.
Hey,
we don't get the PhD behind very many of our guests.
Oh, come on.
Great test. That was
welcome, man. Thank you so much, Dave, for being on here tonight, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, man, you guys I love the show. I'm a fan of the show. I listen to the show regularly. You guys are awesome. So thanks for the platform, and yeah, it's awesome.
It's fun.
We're gonna do that with you, man. We're gonna add to the repertoire of just digging into your past and to know how in the world horseshowpatterns.com, how you got to where you are at with Colorado State, and all the judging information that you could possibly give all of us. Thank you so much. And yes, we thank you, Jennifer, for already saying it, but please let us know where you're tuning in from tonight. And as always, we love to hear your questions. Any questions you have throughout the program, please be sure to do it. Timmy, take it away. Tim's got his notes as usual, so let's rock and roll.
Well, the first one was where you were born at, because that just surprised me this afternoon. We talked about that a little bit. Why don't you talk about your beginning?
Yeah, so Tim, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm a Yankee. Yeah, so I was born and raised in New York.
No way.
Yeah. Born and raised New York, Long Island.
City? Long
Yeah,
Island. Wow.
West Side.
Well, I know.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't realize that, but yeah. So I was born and raised a Yankee, and my family moved to Colorado when I was about 13. I was in 8th grade or so. Yeah. So my family moved to Colorado, and so Colorado's pretty much home for me. But yeah, born and raised New York, and still have some family in New York, and love it there. Visit there often. But
I didn't ask you this afternoon. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have brothers and sisters. I have a brother that is in Maine, actually, and my sister is in Fort Collins, Colorado, with me, and yeah, I have a nephew, and so yeah, I have a lot of family that Colorado's pretty much home for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then, how about your schooling? You went to college, high school there?
Yep. So graduated high school in Colorado, and then I did I did my um, bachelor's degree in Colorado at Colorado State, and then also my master's degree at Colorado State. I did go elsewhere for my PhD, my doctorate degree in New Mexico State University, down in Las Cruces, New
Aggies,
Mexico. Yeah,
the
yeah,
Aggies.
oh, yeah, yeah. There
What?
you go.
Wait, can I ask you what year you're there?
What year I was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so through 2001.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you're young. My
No.
cousin, my first cousin, was basketball coach there at New Mexico State for a while, but it was in
Oh,
the late '80s, early '90s. So anyway,
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm old.
I thought it was intriguing. Okay, let's back up a step about.
Yep.
Let's talk about your writing too before we go too far into college. Who helped you when you started writing at the beginning?
Oh man. So yeah, so like a lot of us did, we grew up in the 4-H program, um, that kind of deal, and so I had some really important people in my life. Um, I'm gonna throw out a name here. Betty Watt was really integral to me. She was really important to me. And when I was in the 4-H program, she was really uh, a supporter of mine, and was kind of just just a really good person to me. Um, so I would say that, and then obviously she went on to do great things. She was with Chad Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was a really good person in my life. Um, yeah. So
And then,
that's awesome.
when did you ride the Saddlebreds?
so so the Tennessee Walkers, the
Tennessee
Saddlebreds. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. No, I did. So that was when I was training horses, and um, um, had some people in my life that were really integral and um, my life and how I was training horses and stuff. And yeah, so yeah.
You
So
know,
can I jump in here, Tim, because I'm hearing in David, like there's a lot of people that were very impactful in your life at a young age, and you didn't know exactly where you wanted to go. You just know you wanted to be a part of the industry somehow, and that is so awesome because we don't get very many people guests on our show who don't have an extensive horse training background, right? And we're going to find out. Maybe you did, but we know, working at Colorado State and being the judge that you are, it's so awesome that we're getting I'm already getting, I should say, a little bit of the insight into, you never know who you're going to meet and the impact that you can have on somebody's life. And so don't ever take whoever you are that's watching this show, don't ever take it for granted that you're not doing something that's going to change the industry in some way. Because I know I've had the privilege of being able to judge with David, and the man is brilliant for one, very caring, and loves the industry. And so the impact that if he's had that kind of impact on me, he's had that kind of impact on a bunch of people. So I will quit digressing, but I'll lose that point if I don't stop right now and say it. And I think that's a really important point.
So Brad, I mean, let's be honest. Like, you have also, I mean, we've had these conversations. Like, you've had people in your life that, different horses, different breeds, different whatever, that have had an impact on you. And Tim the same way. Like,
Right.
I know Tim for sure. Like, he's had different experiences and stuff. So yeah, I mean, that has such an impact on somebody's life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we all can benefit from different experiences, different horses, different lifestyles, whatever. Yeah.
You know, our lives are so fast, right? So fast that we never even get to stop and think about how we start. So when we
Right.
do this show and we take an hour and we really slow down for a minute and go back to realize our roots and stuff like that, and just mentioning names of our mentors and
Right.
stuff like that, it fills our chest like, you did help me. When I was little, you helped me. I talked about my ag teachers with you this morning,
Yep.
how those teachers molded me for now to be a great teacher. I was going to be ag ed, but
Yep.
my mentors, man, they really did something to me that made me, first learn to judge. You want to talk about your judges team too, because you're on the judges team over there. That's a big part of this too. So
hold on. I do want to hear that, but we got Carson Griggs that just commented.
Carson jumped in.
Carson, you're gonna have to rewind the show and see who David's first horse trainer was. I mean,
come on,
started in the 4-H and all that. So anyway, I just like, that's pretty awesome. We got Carson Griggs viewing tonight. Had to pop
the
that
famous
up.
Carson Griggs. There you go.
The famous Carson Griggs.
Let's touch the judging before I lose that chapter here.
Okay.
Tell me about the judging team and how you got involved with that. At the beginning when you started.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, the judging team thing. Again, you and I talked a little bit earlier on a call, but yeah, the judging team thing. It does things for young people. So when people are starting to be interested in judging horse shows and stuff, the judging team thing, it can do a lot of things for people. It builds character, it builds teamwork, it builds ability to just be able to judge horses and be able to function and figure out how to actually judge a horse show. And those are things that are not learned otherwise. So yeah, I mean, the judging team thing is really critical.
I think it establishes, from what I hear, because way back 20 years ago, Julie Vogie, Dave Dillon, they would always help a lot of judging teams, right? And so you guys would bring them over. I'd be at the stalls and they'd be like, hey, can my kids come and give you their reasons? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so when you hear these kids just straight up, as close as I am right here to the screen, and they are with utmost conviction telling you their opinion of what they judged, right or wrong, whether you agree or not, this is their opinion. And that's a critical thinking, something that you're trying, that I believe and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but that the judging teams really bring out, right, is you being able to turn on that side of your brain where critical in your thinking, but then also, trying to stay positive. Not critical thinking is always a wrong thing, but trying to understand your rules and everything else that goes on too. But then having the conviction that what you're watching and what you're seeing and what you're going to put on your score sheet and all that is right.
Yep. So here's the thing, Brad, and Tim and I were talking about this earlier. with the judging team kids, the great thing about the judging team kids is they're smart, right?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
They're college students. They're educated. They're really smart. They're educated. You can teach them the penalties. You can teach them everything. Like, they're really smart. Do they need a little more of the industry, experience? Like, they need to be in the, like where you are. They need to be in the trenches. They need that experience. Yes. So when you have those judging team kids, like, that are smart and educated, we need those. We need those young
Right.
people. Like, we definitely need them. But yes, they need the industry experience as well. So yeah.
That is I always say, whenever I'm judging with somebody, and for whatever reason, Mark Russell comes to my mind, because the guy is, when it comes to like what the rules are and all that, and I respect him so much. I think he's a great judge. And so he was what?
He was my student. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Because I was just saying, he reminds me a lot of you, right? Yeah. And so that makes sense, right? And so, because it's just, I love judging with y'all, because I didn't come from that background at all. And so it does truly help my judging when I get to judge with you guys.
My judging team experience, I guess, I was just saying how you learn how to organize your thoughts a little bit. We learn to talk a little bit better. We learn to say nevertheless, or in addition to, we have these words that tie, so your next thought would come through there, right? Before, we would just go, and like we wouldn't know how to connect the dots and stuff. And then just looking at something, like I said, when I was judging, I remember it's all about anything you wanted to judge, you could judge. You can judge pigs, you can judge sheep, you can judge beef, you can judge horses. Tell us the parameters and away we go. Let's figure it out. Give us the terms, figure it out. Learn to talk a little bit. Learn to be with other people. I mean, I think that's what college is about too, learn to interact with people. And so our world's a little bit better place to live in, So I don't know. I just know it's a life lessons. And you're the dream merchant. You're the guy teaching these young kids to develop, and you're going to see them in the field later on in life. And you molded them. I mean, not everything, but you were a part of it, like part of their judging career, part of their life lessons, whatever you want to call it. That's why we're looking for great teachers nowadays, That's
right. Fellow judge Becky George just chimed in. Hi, Becky.
Becky George out there, look.
All right, David, go ahead.
No.
Oh, every time I go and I judge a show, and Tim is there, and he's got the course, and I learn something from Tim every time, and it's one of those things where I know the course, like I could figure it out. I can figure out the path. I can figure out everything, but then Tim, for example, will tell me like where the trouble spots are going to be, and that's something that, all of us need to appreciate. Like, where are the trouble spots going to be for an exhibitor, or for a person that's going through the trail pattern or whatever. Like, Tim can tell me that, and maybe I didn't see that before. So,
right.
That's what I appreciate about.
Let's say you and I are talking about loping off that gate tap pole that's head on to you, right? Like, no give to it. Like, boom, that mother's going to talk to you. And when you see it, you're going to say, oh my God, that's right on the money. And then you're going to say, oh, little trouble, eh? Like that obstacle has a little give to it. But, I try to make every obstacle kind of equivalent. And like I said, when it's hard, I'll tell you guys, it's a little like, you better watch out. Something's going to give here a little bit. And, I like anything else, I want you guys hot when you're coming in that first 5 horses, right? I want you guys hot as can be. Like, it's going to happen.
Yep.
And if you see it, it's not lying. It's the truth right there. So,
Yep. Yep.
I really want to touch on New Mexico, because I think that's an important part too that you talked about. Like, so from CSU and doing the judging team there, then you go to New Mexico.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And you finished over there.
Yep. So I went to New Mexico State and finished my doctorate degree there. I was there for 3.5 years, and I was teaching there, teaching mostly in the horse program, but most of my research was in cattle and sheep. Yeah, so I finished 3.5 years there, and then was lucky to get back to Colorado State. Yeah.
And then you had some mentors over there too, right? You're gonna say it.
Oh yeah. My mentors there. Some of your listeners will remember Joe Armstrong.
Yes, for sure.
Dr. Armstrong. Yeah, he was my mentor there. His son Josh was great, and I had some horses with Josh while I was at New Mexico State, but
that was like one of my first clinics over there in New Mexico. I worked for those guys, so I thought that
right?
was great. Yeah, I did a clinic for those guys at New Mexico. That's why it was intriguing when you said that. I said, "Wow, that's on my radar." So
on your trek to the east, you stopped in New Mexico.
Yeah, I did actually. I did. Okay, and then so talk about how you got back to CSU.
So yeah, when I finished my PhD, it just so happened that Tina Anderson was moving on. She left CSU and was going to APHA. She took a job at APHA, and so I was fortunate to slide into that position, and and I've been there since.
So how many years would you say you've coached judging teams?
Oh man, 25.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a basketball coach, I'm going, wow, that's so many teams, so many bodies, some people, little minds that you help build, right? You know.
Oh man,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I've been really blessed. Yeah.
And then in that period of time, did you ring steward a little bit too? Like, because you have a bunch of friends that ring steward back in the day too, right?
Yeah. So I ring stewarded for years before I ever got my judge's card, which I could not imagine not having ring stewarded before getting my judge's card. Like that's the most important thing. I would tell anybody. Like, yeah.
That's interesting, because I always think that I never ring stewarded in my life, and I have such a high respect, huge respect for our ring stewards. I mean, they really can make or break us, right? As a judge, they can ruin your day and distract you from judging, or they can truly, help you get that day to be a better judge, right? And to make you look great. So yeah, ring stewarding, if anything about becoming a judge, go volunteer and ring steward, if nothing else, and really try to figure out how to be a good ring steward. And I bet it will definitely help you become a better judge.
Listen, Brad, like I totally agree. And I could not imagine having applied for my judge's card before I ring stewarded. Like it's totally important. And yeah, anybody that's wanting to get their judge's card, you need to ring steward for sure. And learn how to scribe and learn how to deal with the paperwork and that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's totally important.
Don't you see that more often now? I see it more often now. A lot of the kids are now ring stewarding at Las Vegas or whatever, some of those shows, just to get their feet wet, or at least apprentice judging with some of the guys, right? they allow you to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think in Oklahoma, Jackie has a lot of the OSU kids come in and ring stewards. So no, I think, and they're some of the best ring stewards ever. That they know their job. They've done it enough, right? Tell me, David, for all potential judges or ring stewards out there, what is your biggest no that you tell your ring steward when you're judging if they're doing? What is it that you say don't do? I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours.
Okay.
And Becky George agrees with us, by the way.
Okay, you tell me yours first.
Well, mine is don't judge the horse show. Your job is to not watch the show, but to listen and to do, because that's how they start messing up on where now it's the iPads, but when it was pencil or pen, they put it in the wrong box or they do this or do that, right? That to me is the biggest, like, don't watch the run. Just listen to what I'm doing. If I'm judging the reining, I'm like, hey, help me count. Okay. But like with the trail, the horsemanship, the equitation, the show, things are happening way too fast. They cannot watch the run while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. About you, David?
I'm actually going to cop out a little bit, and I would say the same. Yeah. Like,
good answer.
Yeah. I'm going to cop out a little bit, but yeah, that's
you can embellish if you want to embellish a little bit.
No, I'm totally.
You don't call anybody out personally now, but
I'm not going to call anybody out.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Bradford, can we time out?
Yeah, we want to take a commercial break. Is that what we want to do? Oh, no, I see what we're doing here. We got a little rapid fire for Mr. David Denniston. How about that? And I don't have any music. Sorry, guys, I'm not at my desk, so I don't have the music here, but just pretend that little rapid fire music. David, are you're familiar? You watch the show, so you're familiar with the rapid fire questions?
I'm a fan of the show. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So
here we
go. In as few words as possible. Question number 1. What horse show used one of your most interesting patterns that you've designed?
The NSBA.
Nice. Wow. That's big. Question number 2. If you were to go on vacation for 1 week outside the U.S., what country would you choose?
Oh, my gosh. Belize.
Belize. Oh, nice. Wow. I've not ever been there. All right. Question number 3. What fast food restaurant would you take your judging team to the night before a judging contest?
Oh my gosh. Applebee's.
Applebee's. Wow.
That's fast food. Nice. All right. Question number 4. Name the most judge you have scribed for.
Sorry, say again.
Name the most interesting judge you've scribed for.
Oh. Bill Ank.
Bill Ank. That would be a good one for sure. Wow. Question number 5. When you judged the ranch trail the other day, this Tim and him had a conversation, so this is a good question. When you judged the ranch trail the other day, what obstacle had the most variation in your maneuver score?
The drag the pole. The log.
I was gonna answer that for you. I mean, that's always the most variation for sure in the ranch.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, you're halfway through. Question number 6. What type of music, genres, or artists do you like to listen to when creating your new patterns?
Snoop Dogg.
No. I'll bet Tim doesn't have any Snoop Dogg in his repertoire that he does, for sure.
Okay.
Nice.
No.
I would have been out. I'd have been the weakest link on that question. I would not have guessed that right. Okay, number 7. Name a characteristic you look for in a new judging team member trying out for your team.
Smart.
That's a good question. Smart.
Yep.
Smart.
Intelligent. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. 100%.
You have like a smart meter?
What's that?
You have a smart meter?
Like
I can usually tell. I can usually tell pretty quick, Tim. I can usually tell. Yeah. Whether they're
if they're like maybe not good.
I
good
can
fit,
I can
guess.
tell pretty quickly.
Okay, I love it. I love that.
What seat on a plane? I did that purpose, by the way. What seat on a plane do you like to sit in when flying to a horse show?
Aisle. Exit row.
That's where I sit. Okay, I'm in.
I sit there on short flights.
2 more.
Okay, number 9. What is your favorite breed of dog?
Oh. Has to be a Basset.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Basset.
Yeah.
You go by Clint Ainsworth every time, don't you?
Yeah.
Ainsworth.
Okay.
I was stalled right across from him at the NSBA, and there, it's what is his 2 dogs' name? Dang it, Thelma and Louise, right? Okay, number 10. Name 2 judges you've never judged with, but would find interesting to judge with.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a good question.
2 judges I've never judged with.
I know.
A lot of judges.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, think of the new judges that maybe you haven't judged with.
Yeah.
Well, you've judged with that many. All of them.
Oh my gosh.
Say 1 judge
that I haven't judged with. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Too tough of a question.
You know, I'm looking forward to judging with Katie Green.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She just got her card. I just started. I didn't even know
just
she had
got her
applied.
card. I could get on board with that.
I'm like, I think she's gonna be a really good judge person. She's done all around when she was a youth, and I just think she's gonna be a really good judge. So if you're watching, Katie, kudos to you. I think congratulations, and to all the new judges, congratulations. It is not a simple task to get done. So congratulations on that. Okay, Timmy, back to you.
Okay, let's do horse show patterns. So explain to us like when it was established and how you got started the first few years.
How did it come into being? Like what made you decide to do that?
Horseshowpatterns.com.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, again it came about because I was coaching judging teams and my students were getting to the point where they were starting to judge horse shows and wanting to judge horse shows, and they were wanting to start judging horse shows. And so they were coming to me saying, you know, I need patterns for horse shows. And so it just became kind of a deal where I thought, you know, this is going to be kind of a deal, and I need to, you know, figure out a way to make this easier for me, because they were kind of annoying me, honestly, coming into my office and saying, you know, we need horse show patterns and blah, blah, blah. So I started posting patterns on a website, and and then it became, you know, maybe other people can use this. It could be a service, and so that's where that's where it came about.
And then you do all patterns, right? Like all the pattern classes, and then Carson did some trail courses for you this year or last year, right?
Yeah, Carson's been great. He's started creating some ranch trail patterns and some city trail patterns, and yeah, so that's been a good addition to the website as well. Yeah.
Just how does it work? Like, do people just send you patterns and you draw it for them, or they can take from a lot of them and they can use anything on your website or what, something like that?
Yeah, so a lot of the patterns, I draw a lot of the patterns, and I have some friends that draw patterns, send them to me. But then, like Carson, obviously he's
Right.
professional.
Does his stuff, right?
Yeah, he does his own deal. So he sends those to me. But yeah, just so I do a lot of it, and then a lot of my judge friends, they'll send me patterns and say, hey, I think this could be a good pattern, and yeah, so I post that as well.
I think before we move on from this subject is the older I've gotten, the more I've had a more entrepreneurial mindset with everything that I do. And how long has horseshowpatterns.com been around?
20 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
it went live in 2004. Yeah.
Because you were ahead of the times for sure. Because I remember when it came out, and then it's a subscription based platform, which our show network is as well. A little plug there for the Horse Show Network, but it truly was brilliant. And at that point, I'm like, who's this Dave Denniston guy? I think he's a judge, and but it really immediately made me think, this guy, I want to know this guy, because it was brilliant to be able to come up with it, and just learning how it kind of evolved was awesome. But then how you kind of took it from that and made it available to the world basically is very, very awesome. And kudos to you. Like I said, you're ahead of your time, and it just is a kind of a good example of the brilliance that we're talking to, with that PhD right beside that name right there, man.
Okay, so my question to add on to this is, what's changed like in the last 2, 3, 4 years? Like, what's changed how you draw patterns? I mean, I know I've changed for sure. I mean, I roll around what I like, things I like, things that, the way the competition is. What has changed in the way you draw or think about how you're going to make a pattern compared to 5 years?
I think, I mean, Tim, you and I have talked about this a lot, like, because your patterns have evolved as well, and one of the things, so I'll just give you an example. So the horsemanship, showmanship, equitation patterns that I draw and that I create on horseshowpatterns.com, and that I have others that send me patterns, how that's evolved, I think, going from the day where we've had 4 or 5 cones, and the patterns have been like, cones have been targets, and to where exhibitors, they go to a cone and it's actually a target, to where exhibitors now are having to have a plan. Like, maybe it's one cone and you lay out the pattern. And so I like those patterns a lot. And so I've kind of molded that to horseshowpatterns.com, to where, we just have one cone, and you start there, and maybe you have another cone that's a barrier or what have you, or a kind of a distinct like barrier to where the should end.
Yes.
Yeah. So where you need to actually have a plan and go through the pattern that way. So yeah, I think that's evolved. Yeah, and I think your patterns are have kind of evolved similarly.
For sure.
Yeah, to where
So
it's more like the exhibitor needs to have a plan. Like they
right.
need to go in and have a plan of how they're going to maneuver.
So my question is because I was at Euro Paint in Detroit last week, and
Yep.
like the paint division in like horsemanship, they don't do the rail work. Okay.
Yep.
So does that do something when you're drawing for paint horsemanship patterns where you might want to have a better view of them kind of not railing, but you might want to watch them lope or jog a little longer in a circle or something? Does that come into play, or is it just the same as you would do a quarter horsemanship pattern?
No, I think absolutely. What do you think?
Well, how could you evaluate that if you don't make them show it to you, right? Like I want to see them front. I want to see them back. I want to see where their feet are. I want to see a profile of that not mother, but I would like to see that. And so not only am I want to see how they do their work of the pattern, I want to be able to kind of judge rail work along the way in some manner. It's not in my class, but I'm thinking it because they don't do a rail work, you need to kind of incorporate that into a longer pattern or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, in that case where you're not going to be expected to do rail work, yeah, you want to see a little bit more in the pattern work. Yeah, for sure.
So, Tim, I think I kind of feel where you're going because I heard your passion come out when you talk about that mother. But I think the difference between drawing patterns for your horsemanship, showmanship type classes versus a trail, in what I believe makes the horsemanship so appealing to so many kids is, the trail, you have walkovers, lope overs, trot overs, right? And obviously in many different shapes and sizes and strides and all that kind of stuff. But in the horsemanship, you've got, the walk, jog, extended trot, the extended walk, spins,
right.
However many spins, the backups, however fast there's so many different maneuvers, I feel like, to pull from. And I agree. Like I'm the same way. And I haven't drawn any patterns in a while because in this day and age, they kind of are usually provided for you, but not always the case. And so, I have no complaints about any of the patterns that I've had. So please, nobody read into that. I think that it's a little different in my mind anyway, a little different mindset on drawing a pattern for that versus a trail pattern. Trail patterns, you have what's your average 2.5 to 3 minutes, Tim?
Three, right on 3.
And so obviously we can't have
here's where I'm coming from
to be able to pull all those maneuvers out.
So I think I discussed this with David this afternoon too, where the class, this horsemanship class in the old days, in the 80s, there was an equitation class, which was a Western on the rail. We judged you on the rail, how well you rode on the rail, and that was it. And then some judge would make you do extra work sometimes, but nothing too far outside the box. And so it feels like we've gone away from watching people on the rail show their form on the rail, and it's more the pattern part of it, because even when you take them to the rail, we work one direction and you bring them in and you're just checking them off the list.
Well, it's the rail of the rule book, correct me if I'm wrong, David, is to break ties, is it not?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So
in the paints, you're saying you can't do that, right? Because there is no rail work. So that's what you're saying, Tim. If I'm making this right, that's what you're saying is, how do you break? Is there certain maneuvers you like to use to break a tie when you're doing a paint pattern versus, I don't know.
Do you run across that? David? I'll ask David. How do they tie break in paints for horsemanship? Is it just happens?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. Wow. It was interesting to me.
So in the paints, I mean, a lot of times we don't do rail work at all. So yeah, it's placed on the pattern work. I'm curious.
You're curious what?
I'm curious to think like Brad, like you coaching your customers, your exhibitors and stuff. Like, so how are you coaching them going from the pattern work to the rail work?
Most of the time for me, it is stay out of trouble when you're on the rail. Right.
Okay.
And, you know, when you do have to go into the pattern with the mindset of, you know, the Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last kind of thing when you're at the world shows and things like that. Now at the weekend horse shows, I have other goals that I put into play, like things I want them. We just got back from the classic and I'm like, look, what's your goal today? You know, we all know what the ultimate goal is when you get to the Congress or to the world show or whatever, but you know, you have to kind of leave it all out there in the arena when you exit on your pattern work, because your rail work's not going to jump you from 6th place to a world championship. You know,
sure.
It may get you to the top 5 and maybe even 4th. I don't, you know, but typically those are, you know, I think my biggest jump I've ever made on a rail has been, you know, somebody was a point, maybe a point and a half difference, but it wasn't between first and second, maybe, but you know, maybe second and fourth or something like that, because it was just all so very close. But typically it's ties to where I break it.
I'm good with that.
Oh, I'm with you. Yep.
Okay, listen, I got a couple more topics I want to hit before we
for sure
do this. Because one, okay, let me what do you do for fun? Like when you stop, if you ever stop, I never stop, but if you ever got to stop, well, what do you like to enjoy doing when you turn it off, be by yourself or whatever?
It's good.
Oh,
interesting. Minds want to know.
Yeah.
Trail man. Yeah. I'm kind of like you. Like I'd never stop, but I live in Colorado. I love living in Colorado. So I'm an outdoors guy. So I love hiking. When I can in the winter, I love skiing. I just love being outdoors. So yeah, that's.
Do you like when you hike? I mean, hiking reminds me of trail. I when I'm walking in Europe, I look at all the landscape. I look at the formations of the bricks and stuff like that, and I get ideas. I'm going to just tell you, I really do. They have interesting structures over there, and I see visions. Okay, like when you walk in, are you walking just to walk, or do you see stuff like, oh my God, check that out? That looks like I can make a move. I don't know. I get off the board. And I see weird stuff.
Oh my God, your mind and mine are alike. Yeah, we're constantly So when I'm hiking, I'm like looking at like
it's a weird
a new pattern, a new you know how things can go. Yeah, my mind never stops.
So I'm curious because you told me that you coach during the season and then the summer you get to do your judging, right?
Yes.
How do you turn one off, turn the other one on? Like how does that change? Or do they interconnect during the year? How do you? That's two different things.
It doesn't really stop, right? Like it never stops, but it's what I love and it's what I do. So it's all good.
With that, because you're this judging coach, do you share experiences like with your students in the field about how the field is sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All the time. Yeah.
interesting scenarios and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Every time. I just lectured this morning to my to our freshman class that has 105 students in it. Yeah, so I was telling them stories about, a show that I judged last week. Like, it never stops. So, but it's what I love. So it's all.
I find myself doing the same thing. Like when I come back from judging a horse show, sharing with my students a lot of the experiences, just so they can kind of understand. And a lot of times when they come out of the arena, and probably more so the parents, well, why did this judge do this? And I was like, there's multiple reasons that it possibly could have been that way. And I think probably the biggest and easiest thing to see that people don't understand enough, sorry, I'm digressing to another short topic, is when people look at their score sheets, which now we can pull up our phone and look at them right away for the most part. If people would just, instead of going, why did this one have me a 79 and that one had me an 88? Well, then go look at the rest of the patterns that dude scored. And if he's the low card and this one's always the high card, it all ends up in the placings at the end of the day, right? And that's such an easy thing for a lot of people when those questions come up. We're not all supposed to be the same score, right? We're supposed to have a general idea that we're all looking for the same thing, but it doesn't mean that my one is going to be your one, maybe your two, or it's positive and negative, right?
Yep.
That's what you want for me.
I find in the field, especially in my event, is when you got someone that's horses behind the vertical a little bit, okay, and that bothers a judge, right?
Yeah.
And that it not offends him, but he doesn't want +1 that horse because it's just a little bit behind a little bit, right? Okay.
Right.
And the other judge buys into it and says +1. So you do that 10 times because there's 10 or 12 maneuvers, you're talking a swing of 5 to 10 points. I mean, I just know in trail, it happens a lot. Like when that one horse or that, that go doesn't appeal to that judge, you can go into the tunnel and there could be a big old spread,
But those are good conversations to have, right? I mean, between people, between, Tim and telling, and Tim educating me and saying, this is where the trouble spots are going to be in this course or whatever. And Brad saying, here's, what I think about this horse going through, whatever. Those are good conversations to have. And those are important conversations to have.
Those are some of my most favorite times at a horse show is when you're at dinner. You're not talking about specific people or horses or anything, but you're talking about how you judge a horse and pattern. Like for me, in the trails, one thing, but in the horsemanship, I don't mind a horse that's a little bit more in the bridle, as long as it looks like that rider is riding it up there, right? That rider that's perched up there, and it looks like that horse is intimidated. That's to me different, but it takes some training and understanding and where your eyes have to look when you're judging something versus just looking at the overall picture all the time, right? And so those are very, very fun conversations to have. You get to visit with other judges.
When we're walking the course in trail too, I kind of want to give them an opportunity to be on the same page, right? It's not like I want to train the judges to be judges. It's not my department, right. I want to explain the scenario, what I'm looking for, what the range is of what could happen, right? Or of course, I'm going to tell you something bad's going to happen here because this is a tough turn. But like I said, if you have 4 judges, 5 judges, in any kind of those type of events, or 3 judges even, you don't want someone sticking out. They can if that's how you want to do it. But you all want to kind of be uniform on what you believe is what we're looking for. So we try to keep everyone on the same page.
But that's what I so appreciate about you, Tim. Honestly, is like when we walk through a course before, and I can ask you, like, how are they writing this? Like, is this a trouble spot?
Good.
Where are the trouble spots? Where are the trouble spots going to be? And then, you know, like Brad, if I'm judging with him, say, okay, well, how do you think this is going to ride? Like, those are important conversations to have.
100%.
Yeah.
That brings me to a point that I was thinking about earlier in the show when we were talking about it, because it is something that I'm going to be straight up honest with you that I've said is it would be hard for me to go judge, say my wife's shows that she's done in the past, because I've not experienced it. Right. Yes, I work out and I do, but not to the extent that these people with their diet and their exercise and all of that. And so it is something that comes into my mind, but you just answered it, because I can vouch for you that when we do judge together, you do say that, like, what's the hard part of this? Because Tim, we've talked about it multiple times. You know, this obstacle has one pole and it's flat on the ground and you're trotting it or walking over it. There's no 1.5 that can be had in my book. Now, David may say otherwise, but for me, knowing that I train this or train that event, it helps me to determine what kind of score I give to that ride or to that run or to that obstacle, I should say. Right.
Exactly.
And so that is probably the most important things. And it's great to know that you're coaching so many people for that exact thing, because it's one thing to watch. Everybody's going to pay it. Wow, that run was great. Why was it great? Right. That's the part that many people don't like. How they never changed. They loped off. They were 5 strides away. They saw it. That horse never changed gait, never changed rhythm, got to its spot, didn't touch a pole, hand stayed down, rider stayed center, didn't have to help the horse. Like, there's so many things that go into, you know, for the trail, a +1.5 maneuver, right? It's not just, well, they got over it clean. It's way more than that nowadays. So it's just that it's awesome, because that is 100%. I can vouch for you that you do that. And I'm sure Tim could say the same thing, that you ask those questions when you're judging those horse shows. Yeah,
for sure. So my last little topic is about, you know, the next generation, the newer judges, younger judges in the field. I mean, you're right there. You're the guy, you know, you're one of many judging coaches that kind of educate some of our next generation of judges besides the ones that are in the field. I mean, so what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Or are we doing the right things? Do we have the right resources for the younger people to be? You know, it seems like we got to have more a next generation of judges too, or else, just like any class, you won't have any product.
Oh man, I think we definitely we are in need of younger people coming up, judges, trainers. Absolutely, 100%. And so again, going back to like the judging team programs and stuff, I think those are important.
Yeah.
And we need younger people. And you know, I'm getting older. You know, a lot of people getting older, and
well, just another crop. You know, I mean, sometimes I said I want more judges out there to pick from. You know, I want young people to get involved. I think once your judges judge, you see it from the inside out. We talk about that all the time. Once you step in the pen, it's a different look, whether it be trail, showmanship, horsemanship, act, whatever, pleasure. When you're in the circle, inside that circle, it's another little game you're playing. I mean, how it looks like the people that are standing up here versus the ones that are sitting on the ground or judging from the ground. It feels and looks different from here to here. We talk about that all the time too. I said, you guys upstairs, you think it looks right up there. You need to come down here and see what it looks like from the floor, you know?
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
I think another thing that is important with what you're doing with the life that God gave you, David, it impacting ways in our industry. There's a lot of brotherhood, there's a fraternity within the horse training community, and a lot of us are judges, and we have friends that, I'm not saying anybody does anybody a favor. I'm not saying that, but I think it is. I like to, when I'm looking at, NSBA 4 judges or Youth World, and one or two of those come from the college programs. I kind of feel like those are kind of a barometer for, there's no politics going on here. You know what I mean? Again, I hate to use that word because I think it's just natural what you do. When like whatever horse show I'm at and I'm watching this horse go around, horse, oh my gosh, the horse show next week, and I'm judging it, and I love that horse. Those people that are in the college, they don't see that, right? They don't have a preconceived notion. It's not that I'm trying to do anything. I'm trying to will that horse to win. It's something that I watch, and I'm like, I truly love that horse. I may not even know the trainer that's on it. And so it really is turn your chair around, take the blindfold off. Here's your run. You don't know who it is. You don't know the name of the horse, any of that, which I'm one that kind of really doesn't know a whole lot of that anyway. I don't read any magazines or any of the ads or anything like that, or really the results. But there is just a lot of things that are just human nature that happen when you're showing, training, coaching, and judging. Whereas I think the college program gives you a complete open mind to go do. So the more confident you can get an impression upon those kids to know their level of responsibility is amazing. And it can be a huge help to our industry.
And I think I'll try to make this quick, but because we're running over time, but you and Tim do a great job with this platform and what you're doing and encouraging young people. And I know you do this specifically, but I do think we need to encourage our young trainers that are doing good and tell them,
right.
Pat them on the back and say, you're doing a good job. Like one young person who's a trainer, I'm not going to mention any names, but was at the NSBA, and I thought had a really good show. And he had his horses prepared well, really showed well, and I thought showed the best that I've ever seen him show. And so I took the time. I picked up the phone after the horse show and made it a point to call him and say, you're doing a good job. Like, you're building a program. Like, he wasn't just like showing horses anymore. Like, he was building a program. And I think that's important. And we all need to do that. And
absolutely.
Let me add to that one. So when I'm in Kreuz this week or last week, and it's a German paint championship, and some of those guys I know, some I don't know, but like there was this one gentleman who had 2 or 3 in this in-hand trail class, right? Not my favorite class, but he was first to go, and I watched, and he knocked it out. Like, he knocked it out, and I was impressed. And so later on, not maybe like a couple hours later, I said, that first horse you showed on the course, I thought you did a great job. And he doesn't speak English, so they had to get translated into what I'm saying, right? But it made him, you could see his smile that, that I came up to him and told him that, And
we have to do that.
People. Yeah, it's funny because it doesn't take nothing from us to say it, but to hear it from us saying it goes a long way for them, right? They think that's like, wow, impressive,
But coming from Man of Trail, I mean, imagine what that meant.
Exactly.
They caught my eye. He caught my eye. So I watched,
Yep.
So, okay, I'm good. What do you guys
Well,
think?
David, before we break, is there anybody else you'd like to thank or anything else you'd like to mention before we put a bow on this thing?
Oh man, you guys are my favorites. So thank you. Yeah, for the opportunity.
Thanks, David. We appreciate your time, man. Again, I know you're going. Last time I judged with you, you were going to Germany for like a month, and you're like, I got to figure out how to wash my clothes while I'm there and get my stuff dry cleaned and all that. Because you were judging one horse show, and then I think you were turning around and judging the next one, and I'm like, that's just dedicated and a love for your job, and that's just for those of you that don't know that judging is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. What is it? The other day when we asked you to be on the show, you're like, I judge how many hours of ranch riding, and you want to give the first run and the last run the equal amount, right? And so it truly is. You're a great example, as everybody that has commented tonight is just a huge fan of yours. Not for it, but because you do your job, you show your passion, whether you're out in the barn or whether you're standing judging, visiting with people as a result of your phone call too. And it's kind of awesome that we're kind of finishing the show like we started, about, I think her name was Betty, that it just made an impression upon you, when you were young, and to look how you've passed that down to even the phone call after NSBA, right? And doing that. And so, if there's nothing else that anybody take the show, just remember that we're all can be a useful tool, right? It is something that we're all competing each other, but there are opportunities to be able to encourage people, because we were all blessed to have an industry like this, and we really always want to leave it better than we found it, right? And I think with the two of you on here, there's no question that that's what you guys are doing. And I hope that people see the same thing for me. But I can't thank you enough, David, for bringing all of that to our attention tonight. We never know necessarily where we're going to put a lot of focus and emphasis on our shows when we start. We get great notes, but sometimes we just follow along that path. And I think you're who you are as a person just shined through on this, as we got some amazing, like Holly Hover commenting, and watching the Kendra Weisses of Becky George, so many amazing people that have just spoke highly of you tonight. And so thanks for giving us your time, man. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Do I see you in a week? Do I meet you on the other side of the week?
What's that?
I said, do I meet you on the other side in a week?
Yes, I'll see you in Italy.
I thought you were talking about me. I'm like, no, I'm not going over there.
No, I would think I'll see this young man in Rome in a week. So.
I'll see you, Mana Trail, and
we'll see you on the other side of the water.
Very good. Hey, well, we expect a picture on the Keeping It Real show when you guys get over there.
We'll make a clip. We'll make a clip when we get over there for
Perfect.
sure.
Okay.
Perfect.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for watching tonight. Thanks you for all your comments, and please like and share it. Go check out the horseshownetwork.com as well. Y'all have a great night. Take us away, Marcelo.